And the Celtics may have just kind of said, you know what, we're going to take this year without Jason Tatum and we're going to rebuild ourselves. We're going to kind of reconceive what we are and what we can do.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams. And on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition, free agency wrap-up, NBA Summer League preview, and WNBA expansion. So let's jump to it. All right. So as we look at free agency, there's three things that are going to guide this conversation because we're going to have a conversation. Who's ready to make a move based on what they've done? Who's already done that we don't even have to worry about? And an 82-game team versus a 16-win team. What that means is who's a good regular season team, but as the playoffs showed you, you have to be able to play multiple ways to win a championship. And that's what Oklahoma City was able to do. So with us today, our favorite administrator, Robert Abney. Robert, we're going to start off with the Eastern Conference. Who do you think actually helped themselves and is ready to make that move to the next level?
Well, I don't know how much this actually helps themselves, but I think the most significant move that we saw in the East is probably Miles Turner going from the Pacers to the Bucks.
Yes.
Now, the Bucks they waived Dame. So I don't know how they're going to make that up because that's Miles Turner is not going to make up that scoring. But that's interesting pairing him with Giannis and some of the things you can do with that. That also really hurts the Pacers, especially since the Pacers will not have Tyrese Halliburton for
if they're smart for the entire year. If they're smart.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Why would you even mess with that? Don't even mess with that. But I mean, that's pretty significant for them. So, other than that, I don't know how much everybody else really did things to help or hurt themselves. Pretty much it's status quo in the East. I think a lot of teams are kind of banking on the fact that, hey, the East is just not very good and we don't have to do a lot to maybe move up, especially since, the Pacers don't have Halliburton, the Celtics don't have Jason Tatum, the Celtics lost Al Horford, is that going to matter? They didn't have to do it, and Porzingis. They didn't have to do a lot. And the Celtics may have just kind of said, you know what, we're going to take this year without Jason Tatum, and we're going to rebuild ourselves. We're gonna kind of reconceive what we are and what we can do.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
So for me, Cleveland's in the best spot because I'm not going to poo-poo Cleveland like the national media. They got hurt at the wrong time. They got hurt. And as you saw, injuries matter. So Cleveland was the best team in the East last year during the regular season and was beat up during the postseason. So if they can acquire some depth, it does go through Cleveland. Boston's hurt, so they're going to make the playoffs because it's the East, but they shouldn't be significant. The Knicks are interesting because they did hire grown-up. Mike Brown is a grown-up coach. He is a grown man coach.
Yes.
And although Tibbs probably shouldn't have got fired, he got fired, move on. Sorry, I'm not going to linger. And if they can add a little more depth, and I think Mike Brown is going to adjust the rotation, the Knicks should be in the mix to compete for a championship. Indiana's a wash because of the injury. Milwaukee's a wash because of the injury. Detroit, I like, but let's just say one of their players that they were really looking forward to having may not be available next season, and feel free to look that up. And Orlando will be better, but They still got to go through a process, and you can't, as we tell you in education, I could get your test scores up for a year, but if you really want sustainability, we got to grind a little bit. My sleeper team is the Sixers, because if Embiid's better and they got a quality player, what are we going to do? All right, Western Conference. It's a mess out there, Robert. Anybody make themselves better, or is it still OKC?
Well, I think first of all, it's still OKC. I think Houston is trying to make a move. I think they need another old head. I mean, Durant is an old head, but they need an old head who can
stabilize that second unit.
Yeah, who's a grinder to anchor that second unit. We have to talk about the Lakers because we have to talk about the Lakers. I mean, it's, they re-signed LeBron, which LeBron is going to take that player option because get your bag.
Get your bag. 50 million is 50 million. I don't care how old you are. Get it.
Get your bag. The DeAndre Ayton signing is interesting because he is talented and there's some potential there. And I mean, his skills theoretically should mesh with Luka, but he's already washed out of two teams.
There's a reason why you were available.
And there's a reason why that happens. And I don't know if the Lakers think they can magically fix that, or they decided it wasn't that big a deal, or they just said, you know what, we're going with it. I don't know. But there's usually a reason that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah. Dallas got better.
Dallas got a lot better.
Dallas got better. Now, we're going to remember that Dallas was the 10th seed this past season, but Dallas got better. But there's a process. You can't skip steps. So we're going to see how that works.
And the other thing is this: when two of your three best players cannot stay on the floor.
Facts.
Facts. I mean, if they're on the floor, they're a problem. They are, and they can definitely. I don't know if they can challenge Oklahoma City, but they can definitely be a problem to some people. But AD, Kyrie, and who knows when Kyrie's going to start talking about, flat Earth, ivermectin, all the other stuff that he does because he's weird. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I love what Houston did. I do. And thanks for giving us Cam back, Houston. We appreciate that. But again, Oklahoma City has already gone through it. Houston is going to be better. The Lakers will be probably top 6, but again, it's 82 games versus 16 wins. I just don't see it.
I don't see 16. I mean, I see 16 wins. I could see 16 wins for the Thunder, for the Rockets.
Sorry, Golden State's too old, and a whole year of Jimmy. Some point, that hamstring is going to be hamstring, and Draymond is not getting faster. He's going to get slower. Minnesota, I can't trust you.
Because he's slower, he's going to get meaner, if that's possible.
Yeah.
And Minnesota is good, but are they good enough? I don't know.
And I'm going to mess with you as we close. When Zion plays, they win. That was for you, franchise.
Zion is currently being held together by week-old bubble gum and duct tape. As he carries his bag of beignets into the facility for practice. Stop it.
That's too fat. Okay, fans, in segment 2, we're gonna introduce Summer League. Okay, we'll talk about Summer League, but we gotta slow you down a little bit. We'll be right back on the Coaches Podcast. Hi everyone, Dr. Keith Adams here, and for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast and segment 2, NBA Summer League. Okay, so one, I love NBA Summer League, and one of my life goals is to get the Odd Coaches Podcast, Cavalcade of Stars, to the Circa and hang out all day and watch games and all of that. So there's 3 summer leagues. Salt Lake City Summer League is this week, July 5th through the 8th. The California Classic Summer League is July 5th through the 8th. But the one we all want is the NBA 2K26 Summer League, July 10th through the 20th. So let's give you an overview. Eyes will be on number 1 draft pick Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks. Flagg and company will play the Lakers, and Bronny James in year 2 will be there. So again, there's a lot to watch. The Mavericks will play against Spurs and Dylan Harper, and they'll play against the Hornets and Con Kernopel. They'll also play against the 76ers and VJ Edgecrum. And again, I like the 76ers and I like the Wizards because CKA are trying to resume season tickets with the Wizards and get season tickets for the 76ers. Okay. So we've got all of that going on. But let me give you my thoughts on Summer League before I pass it. 1, there should be an emphasis on player development, not player analysis. And as I'm listening to the national media, you're breaking down a Summer League game after the kids have been on the banquet circuit. Sorry, not me. Okay, a lot of chicken and rice and pats on the back and draft night parties. And now you want me to play basketball? Try not to get hurt. 2, there should be an emphasis on coaching development. As a head coach, I always allow my assistants to coach in the summertime because they're not always going to be my assistants. At some point, they're going to be head coaches. Similar to my head coach. My mentor, Hank Galata, said, I need you to coach in the summer, and I'm not coming to a lot of the games because I don't want you coaching for me. I want you to learn how to be a coach. I want you to make your moves and not worry about post-game analysis. It's just a meeting. And Robert, I am sure you did that with your APs. I'm sure you did that with your assistant principal. There should be an emphasis on risk-taking. Try something new. Practice a new move. If it works, great. And if it doesn't, So again, notice I am not mentioning wins and losses. And the last emphasis for me, situational basketball. Up 5, down 7, sidelines out of bounds. So we're emphasizing those things, and we're not emphasizing winning. I couldn't tell you who won the Summer League championship last year, the year before. 1 year, Becky Hammond's team won. That's probably all I got, man. Robert, any thoughts on NBA Summer League as people are going to go nuts with their analysis of summer games in Las Vegas?
Yeah, all of that. I mean, really, all of that. Because, I think I read somewhere that, Dallas is going to have Cooper Flagg bring the ball up this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's the perfect time to find out if he can do that or not, right? And that should be the whole idea of Summer League, okay? Let's figure out, we should already know what the guys we have, we should already know their strengths because we acquired them. We should know that. Let's see what else they can do. Let's see what's outside of the skill set that we know they have. Let's push them into some uncharted territory. Let's make them uncomfortable and see how they handle that discomfort. Let's learn how to play. If we're down four with 42 seconds left, how do we play that situation? All of that stuff is stuff that should happen in summer league. So you're teaching guys how to play when they're uncomfortable, how to be successful. If you win, great. If not, what are you losing in summer league? Nobody cares. I mean, At least, let me rephrase that. Nobody should care.
No one should care. And you said the T word, teach it. Most of the guys that I talk to in college, most of the guys I talk to in professionals, they say, Keith, you would be amazed at what we have to spend time working on, because you can't assume they know anything. So you have to use these opportunities in terms of teaching. I want to try some funky lineups in the summertime. I do. Man, throw me three bigs to see if they can run around. I want to be experimental
and run that ancient not the triangle offense, the
flex. Run triangle. Okay, all right. So these are the types of things that would interest me in the summertime. All right. So with that, in segment 3, WNBA expansion, did they get it right? We'll talk about it. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Keith Adams, and for years, I've witnessed the struggles student athletes face on how to truly balance the demands of academics and athletics. It's a question that I have dedicated my life to answering. That's why I wrote Finding the Balance, my personal journey to academic and athletic success. It's more than just a book. It is my personal journey, and it is filled with hard-earned lessons from decades as a coach, educator, and now president of the CKA Safe Project. Inside, you will find practical advice, real-life stories, and a clear roadmap to help student athletes, coaches, and parents navigate the complex world of balancing sports and education. And now I am thrilled to bring this message to a wider audience as a proud member of the Cascade Sports Network. We're partnering to amplify these crucial conversations about student-athlete success. I believe every student-athlete deserves the opportunity to reach their full potential, both on and off the court and the field. You can purchase your copy directly from our website at www.ckasafeproject.org. Join me and the Cascade Sports Network as we work together to help every student-athlete succeed. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3, WNBA news and notes, and the story of the week is expansion. So 1, Minnesota Lynx, top 5 here. New York Liberties 2, Phoenix Mercury's 3. That was a nice coaching change and shifting of rosters. The Atlanta Dream is 4. The guy from Florida Gulf Coast is doing a good adjustment, and Seattle is 5 on the outside looking in. The Golden State Valkyries. Will they be the Vegas Golden Knights and run it all the way through? The Indiana Fever, Las Vegas Aces, and my own Washington Mystics. Okay, so let's talk about the story of the week is WNBA expansion. The WNBA is expanding to 18 teams over the next 5 years, with Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia all set to join the league by 2030. Cleveland will begin play in 2028. Detroit in 2029, and Philadelphia in 2030, assuming that everything is approved. So let's talk a little bit about the Cleveland expansion. The Cleveland, there's no guarantee they're going to be the Rockers, by the way. But Dan Gilbert, who owns the Cleveland Cavs, will be a part of the ownership group. They're going to play in the Rocket Arena, home of the Cavaliers, and they have a practice facility that's currently used by the Cavaliers that's going to be kind of redone for them. Detroit's coming in 2029. Tom Gores, who owns the Pistons, is involved, so that means the money's still going to be there. Grant Hill is the minority owner. Chris Webber is a minority owner, and Jared Goff is a minority owner. So again, we got little pockets there. They're going to play in the Little Caesars Arena, home of the Pistons, and they're building a new practice facility. Okay. And then finally, the Philadelphia team is coming in 2030. Josh Harris, who owns the Sixers, and he also owns his little local team down here. I think he's doing a good job there. They're going to play in the new arena being built in downtown Philly, coming to get those season tickets. And the 76ers have a practice facility in Camden, New Jersey. Keep your eyes up. So, Robert, Houston didn't get a team this time, but did they get it right? Any thoughts on the expansion?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I'll tell you what would be wrong if Cleveland's not the Rockers and Detroit isn't the Shock. If they don't get that right, that'll be a problem for sure. Philadelphia, I don't think they've picked a mascot yet.
No, they had an ABL team. So I don't even remember what the ABL team is called, because that's what Don Staley had played on.
I mean, I think they should have gone to Houston over Philadelphia. But I mean, that's probably just me. Because you still have the Connecticut Sun, who I think
they're going to move somewhere.
They're moving somewhere, so that's still kind of out there as well. And you start getting to the point where are we just going to match? I mean, are we just going to match all of the NBA teams? So then you start talking about, okay, is OKC really a good spot for a WNBA team at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Memphis? I mean, some of these smaller markets. I mean, Vegas, the Aces draw pretty well, and I'm sure they're looking at an NBA team. When expansion comes, that's probably where the NBA is going. But I still feel like the teams in Vegas. That's, I mean, it's a little different for the Vegas Knights, and I think for the Aces because they've been there. I mean, that's where they started. That's their. So they're probably good. The Raiders has been interesting because all of their fans, I mean, basically everybody is going to Vegas to watch a game, and their home games
and there's something to do there.
Yes, something to do there. And I know that we don't typically talk baseball,
but the A's are coming.
The A's, well, the owner of the A's still does not have stadium funding. They had a groundbreaking, but what he did is he rented a bunch of heavy machinery, and basically what they're doing is they're pushing dirt around on the lot because there has to be construction, but they have no stadium funding. So, the leagues kind of have to be, I mean, they want to go somewhere there's already infrastructure, I'm sure.
So, yeah, and I was looking at that money piece. So these three teams seem to have solid footing financially.
Yes.
So there should be something good there. Would have liked to see Nashville, just because that's a strong women's hotbed with the legendary Pat Summitt there. Definitely wanted Houston. That is, in my opinion, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the least talked about great player. And the Houston Comets are the least talked about dynasty. And in the NFL, Roger Staubach is the least talked about dominant player, because what he did, his whole gig, wow. So I would have loved for the league to say, you know what, let's do that, and then kind of maneuver from there. So as we say in education, that's a missed opportunity. That's all.
I believe we so. It. But and you know what? And everything could turn out to be fine. But
no one cares. We're Guys on a podcast, as my buddy would tell me.
Yeah, just some dudes on a podcast. That's it. But I would have preferred. I definitely would have thought Houston would have been a choice.
And Coop's still around. Swoops is still. I mean, it just missed. That's all. All right. So with that, fans, this week, check us out on social media. We are doing our summer fundraiser. You will follow us at CKA Save Project on social media and at Odd Coaches. Feel free to click our links. They'll be out all week. And if you're able to assist our intern-led fundraiser, we totally appreciate it. So on behalf of our favorite administrator, Robert Abney, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, also seen on the Cascade Sports Network. And we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.